You're watching Open House. Now we're in the Los Feliz section of Los Angeles for a tour of a stately Tudor Revival mansion. Built in 1926, it served as the Russian Consulate from the mid-30s until the early 1950s. The home is filled with exquisite detail from floor to ceiling. The grounds are no less impressive. And speaking of impressive, the master suite is nearly half of the home's private level and features cinematic vistas all the way to the ocean. It's one of 6 bedrooms in this over 15,000 square foot masterpiece.
I'm Ernie Carswell of Douglas Elliman, and I'm here in the cradle of original Hollywood in an area of Los Angeles known as Los Feliz. This home is quite special. It's the personal residence of entertainer Michael Fienstein and his longtime spouse. Upon entering the gates to this grand mansion, you notice immediately its beautiful Tudor Revival architecture from 1926. 6 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms. But before we go inside, I must make mention of the beautiful European parterre gardens that sit right at the front entry of this home. The hedgerows are manicured. Among them are beautiful statuary that represent Greek mythology figures. But I've held you long enough. Let's step inside. Although Mr. Fienstein has owned this home for 20 years, there's even more intrigue in his history beyond. From 1935 until 1951, this was the official Russian consulate for Los Angeles, leading up to the Cold War. Guests would arrive in this grand reception hall and then be led into the gathering room, held before dinner, which would end up in the ambassador's dining room. World leaders, diplomats, true Hollywood legends have walked through these very rooms. And now I've arrived in the owner's favorite room, the Conservatory sunroom, where one cannot ignore the commanding presence of the 12th century Ming Dynasty Buddha sculpture. So beloved by the owner that the ceiling was built around the statue itself. There was one more destination from this room one could choose, which is the outdoor, tropical-inspired cigar terrace. The next destination might be sleeping. And so let's take a look at the master suite. And so we have arrived in the master suite. In fact, the entire master suite is comprised of 4 rooms. This is the sleeping chamber, and it leads into the walk-in dressing room, which is wall-to-wall haberdashery closets, of course the bath, and then a meditation room. Just the right distance away, you enter into a beautiful sitting room and then step into the sleeping chamber in the double Russian suite. It could be called the Lincoln bedroom of this fine estate. While it's true that famous guests have stayed here, they've also come to work or play. Let's descend now to where art is not only remembered, but is created today. I'm now in the lower level screening room, the home of musical art in this residence. Guests may gather around the piano for sing-alongs, stand next to the Wurlitzer jukebox, or sit down in front of the screen and watch a real musical. Now I'm in the inner sanctum of music in this home. Footsteps away from the door into Michael's home recording studio. It is like the miniature Smithsonian of historic music. And speaking of history, what Russian diplomat's home wouldn't be complete without its own secret escape route? Well, that secret escape leads to this gorgeous swimming pool set amidst this private garden overlooking the skyline of Los Angeles. I've really enjoyed touring you around this impressive residence, which contains pieces of international history, but also is a beloved piece of Los Angeles architecture. And until I see you again, and I hope to, see you soon.